Welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we got the touch detection working for our inventory system, so we are allowed to change the item and the tunic that we have equipped, and that's working on touch now. What we do need to do today is get our loot system working. Now that the loot can be equipped, we're going to be adding, right now it's toggled on, oh, we must have taken it off already. Here it is. So we have the loot system moved to the B button. If the loot is equipped, then we can come up here and play our loot. And then our A and B are frets 1 and 2. So if we play the low string here, and we can kind of walk it up. It's just that they're not set half step away from each other, because we want the strings played together to be more than just a 3 half step range, because it doesn't sound very good as a 3 half step range from one another. So we've got it working on keyboard here. So if I just hit B button, it doesn't pull up our loot, but if we come in here and apply our loot, then the B button does. One thing is we render our fret presses as soon as we hit the B button with loot equipped. We have a fret button rendering there. So I don't know if we want to add like a little grace period in there before we render the fret, just because I don't want anytime anyone hits the loot equip for it to render the frets there, but we'll figure that out. So hopefully we can get the mobile deployment working for the loot system. So we'll get working on that. Let's take a look at how we're currently doing it with an O press. Okay, so in our play state, if O is pressed while we have a, see, this is a little weird. We have to test whether or not the item in the item slot 1 is of type loot. So like we have to see, is the equipped item in our item slot a loot? And we can't check that if our item slot is nil. So we have to say, if O is pressed and the slot is not nil, then if it's type loot, then we're going to activate our loot state here. And then here's another problem, is right now we don't have a way to toggle off our loot state, because in order to get it on, we hit the B button. But once it's active, we have the loot on screen, and then the B button becomes our first fret. So we don't have a way to turn it off other than hitting enter to pull up an inventory, and then by the time you hit enter again to take off your inventory, that turns off the loot system. So it's, I don't know of a better way. I don't know of how we should handle that, because we should give a way to be done with the loot system, and maybe we make it select instead of start. Right now select is functioning as like a helper to let you know controls. So maybe we can make select get out of loot state if we're in loot state. Otherwise it'll be our controls, because right now, and actually we don't have a button on keyboard to trigger select help state, do we? I want to say it's called help state. Oh, H is our help state. Okay. So right now we have H toggling it, and it just says like, yeah, this is wrong already, but yeah, we can update this too. Yeah, it should be A button to interact, which is P, and it should be WASD to move now. So maybe we can turn this select state into a cancel. Like either it toggles our help state if we're not in lute state, but if we are in lute state, it'll go ahead and take us out of lute state. So that the mobile people have a way to exit out of lute state, and then we can also add in an H here, where if not lute state, then we would change to this. Otherwise, we need to stop becoming, lute state gets false. So now let's see if we pull open our lute state, and then if we hit H, oh, see, that is wrong. If not lute state, then we change. Totally wrong. Did we not save this? Okay, this is just not what I wanted at all. Okay, we'll worry about that. We'll fix that. So let's see where we're doing the select button here. We do this in the callback in our touch handling, I believe. We have a select button here, which is our buttons at index 3. So right now that's toggling our help state, but we want it to cancel us out of lute state. So we could see, yeah, let's see where we're going from our inventory to stopping. See, look, all we're doing to get out of the lute state is lute state gets false here. That should be a global variable we always have access to. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, it should be global. Okay. And then where are we toggling the help state from pressing select is what I want to know. It looks like we only have it. You know what? No, I know we have it. I thought we had it in our touch handling. It should be right here. Okay, so buttons 4 is our select button, and we're saying if any of our touches collides with our select button, if we are in the play state name, then we're going to turn off lute state. We already had that. And then change to pause state. That is wrong. Okay. Okay, that should be the start button. We're looking for the select button. Let me see here. Okay, buttons 3 is our select button. So if any of our touches collides with buttons 3, we want to, this is for touch, so we're going to say we're either going to toggle the help state And right now, I believe the help state isn't an actual state for our state machine. It's just a global toggle that renders the help text on screen. Let me see if that's the case. Because even if we have change helps... Oh, it is an actual state. But then how... Hold on a sec. This is weird. Yeah, we don't have a help state here. Okay, so this is totally wrong. Like the H that's there isn't actually changing the state. I believe we have a H press somewhere else that's just rendering text. Yeah. See, oh, toggle help. Oh god. Okay. So our help state was wrong. Toggle help is what it's called. So that's why we weren't getting the right thing happening. So let's take off our help state because it is not an actual state. So we're not using that at all. But we are toggling help here. See, this is weird. Oh, okay. No, it makes sense that we're doing toggle help in the update. And then when we render, where do we render toggle help? Okay, we render it there. Okay. So what we want to do is when H is pressed, we only want to toggle help if lute state, then we want to stop becoming lute state and then toggle help. And then I think if not lute state, we just toggle help. Or I guess what we could do here is say if lute state toggle help and then toggle help anyway. Okay, let's try that. So H toggles our help, but if we have a lute and we're in our lute state and we press H, it turns off lute and it just toggles help. I don't know if I like that. I think we should just get out. I think we should just get out of lute state. So we'll just put an else here and we'll just get out of lute state if H was pressed. Otherwise we'll toggle help. So, and then I haven't decided what select button is going to be on... That works. What select is going to be on the keyboard. I don't know. Enter seems to be like start. Maybe shift is select. I don't know. Or maybe tab can be select. Or maybe tab is start. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so now we've got a way to get out of lute state for our keyboard. So let's try to add it for... Let's try to add the lute string playing for our mobile, which we don't have just yet. We don't have the toggle lute state for mobile either. So if we look at our lute state here, and this is, I probably shouldn't call it lute state because it's not an actual state in our state machine, but we see there's a lot going on here. We're pulling a list of notes for this like Guitar Hero like mini game. We're pulling notes and we're setting a song timer and we're inserting notes as we remove. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so here's where we spawn it. We spawn a note for every active note, and then after a certain amount of time, we're removing the active notes. Okay. So here's the logic where we're toggling our lute state to become true. So instead of doing this, I'm just going to say if we're not in lute state, we're going to be doing this, which is become lute state. If we are lute state, what we are doing is actually returning the frets being held, not the lute state becoming non-active. So we only do something if it's not lute state upon an O press, as long as the item that's equipped in our item slot is of type lute. And then we can get rid of this. Okay, see, so this is like, there's a lot going on here with the amount of buttons. So we have to cycle through our notes, or our touches, our active touches, and check for these things. Just like how we're doing it here. Now, I don't know if the move is to make like an actual mobile deployment version of the game, so that we only have like, I don't know, because we could just ask, I guess I'm getting at, like, on desktop, why would we be converting and listening for touches on a desktop deployment if we know the desktop deployment isn't going to have touch detection? But I guess if it's such a small game anyway, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. But we need a way to toggle the lute state, first of all. And then, if we're lute state, we need to cycle through all of our notes, all of our touches, and check for collision with the A and B buttons to either insert a frets held. That is what renders the frets being held on the left side there. And then we need to check for the D-pad buttons to see if a note should be played. Then, if Love2d keyboard was released, then we remove the fret. Okay, that makes sense to me. The only thing is we don't have a way to do this for our touches other than the callback touch released function. Yeah, we don't have a way to do this other than the callback function. So we might have to add that in the callback. Okay. Oh my god, it's a lot. It's a lot going on here. Okay, and one other thing I don't like at all is that all of this lute stuff is in our play state. It's bogging down our play state code. We should have like a little module of lute stuff. Okay, we'll take it one step at a time here. So we need this where we check. See, I guess, why do we ask if it's lute state up here before we trigger it? This should be after, and this is the same condition. If lute state, go ahead and do this stuff. So I feel like we can just plop this in here. Let's make sure that works still. Seems to be working. Okay. Okay. So, is this... Yeah, this is just in our update. So we need this corresponding method for the touch detection. And this, I feel like this block should be paired with this one because they correspond with, they both correspond with toggling our lute state. And then we'll put, this is like resizing our screen. We'll put that just at the top here, whatever. Okay. So this is toggling our lute state off. If it's already equipped, I feel like that should be after we toggle it on, just for organizational purposes. Let's make sure we didn't break anything. Okay, so we need this equivalent to toggle our lute state for our touches. So we need to cycle through our touches. Then we were doing something like, where was it? Not in our play state, I guess. It must be in our inventory class where we were checking, yeah, right here. If we check if it was touched, so if we collide with it and if it was touched. So this is like, we have to find which button is our B button. It's buttons 2. Yeah, buttons 2 is our B button. So, hey, what's up, Magnetonics? How's it going, dude? If our B button is touched and the lute is equipped, then we need to toggle our lute state. So we can say we have to have this corresponding bit here, just like this. But yeah, if we have to ask if it's nil first, if it's not nil. So if O is pressed and it's not nil, okay. So right here, we would say not if Love keyboard was pressed, but if buttons at index 2 collides with our touches at index K, so any of our touches, and the item slot is not nil, then we're going to check if the item that is equipped is of type lute, and if it is, and we're not already in lute state, we're going to become lute state true. And then also make our player face down and also change our player's animation to be facing down. So that should handle toggling the lute state for our touch deployment if the lute is equipped, but it doesn't handle the toggling it off. So we need to say if select was pressed, which is buttons, oh gosh, I always forget this. Buttons what? Buttons 3 is select. So if we collide with buttons 3 on any of our touches, then if we're in lute state, we're going to no longer be in lute state. And if we are not in lute state, we're going to toggle our help. Okay. So I think this is a good time to commit and push so that we can test it on the mobile deployment. So we'll say testing lute state activation for mobile. Okay, let's test it. Okay, so all we do is run our build script and then deploy our files to our web server here. Okay, looked like it worked. Okay, let's try. We can equip our lute. And then if we hit B, we've got our lute. Hey, Fun Guy the Real. Hey, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. We're getting our mobile deployment set up for... Hey, Quellis is here. What's up, dude? Whoa, 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 wait, hey, wait, what's happening? Hey, thank you guys. How's it going? Yeah, we're trying to get our... Uh-oh. Okay, we're trying to get our lute minigame working on our mobile deployment here. And I realized we did something wrong. Hey, thank you for the raid. Thanks, welcome all raiders. Hey, I appreciate that. We need to toggle this only if this was touched once. So we also need to ask, and touches at index K dot was touched, because that is the field that gets true on the first frame of it being touched. And then I think that's okay otherwise. So it looks like our lute was working. So now we can go ahead and work on our lute playing now that our D-pad is working. So there's this little lute mini game that we've got where if you equip your lute here and you can play it string by string and fret by fret. I'm very bad at the Guitar Hero part of it, but it's like a proof of concept right now, so we are hopefully gonna get better at playing it once we have a song that we actually like. And then, yeah, I think we're ready to toggle our playing, our note playing. So we can handle the fret presses first and maybe just test that. So after we're cycling through all of our touches, we're going to say not if keyboard pressed was O, but O pressed is our B button. So we're going to say if our buttons, it's actually, yeah, buttons 2 is our B button. If that touch collides with our button, then we want to insert a number into our frets held. Okay, and then this should be, P would be button A, which would be buttons 1. Hey, Quellis, how was your stream? What's up? How's it been for you? I've been catching your YouTube shorts. They're really good, dude. So good job on those. It's funny, like I haven't been I need to subscribe to you on YouTube, but like it's cool. I've been seeing Twitch peeps on YouTube shorts lately, like Booyah Grandma and Quellis. So it's been cool to see you guys out there. Okay, so this should have now the difference between our. Okay, yeah, this is tough. The difference between our keyboard detection and our touch detection is our keyboard does have logic for a was released, and we don't have a was released for the touch that I can tell. Hey, thanks for the follow. Thank you, Simple, for the follow. I appreciate that. See, we should have a was released right here. See, if was released, we cycle through our frets held, and then okay, yeah. So we don't have a way. The only way I know how to do this with touches is in the callback function in our touch handling. So this should be for button B. Let's see our touch handling. And let's look for our callback for a touch release. Touch pressed, touch moved, touch released. Okay. So if a touch was released, then we're gonna cycle through our pairs of frets held. See what is going on here. If a touch is released, our frets held is a table of, we only have 2 frets, so if this is only on a, see, and this is tough because we don't have a, I think we need to add a parameter to be which touch ID is triggering which button. Because this logic here is upon a specific release. You know, if we let go of the first fret, then we need to remove the value. We need to remove the fret that has the value of 1 in the frets held table. And then if P is released, that's our second fret. Then if P is released, we need to remove the value that's equal to 2 in our frets held table. And we don't have that ability for our touch release. Because we don't know ID. ID is something that is generated for us. We can't tell which ID is a fret held. So I feel like we need to add a field of a name to our touches, and once the touch collides with a B button press, we can populate the name field with B button, the name, and then if there is a touch released, we can say if the touch that was released has the name field of B, then we can remove the value of 1 from our frets held table so that we can take that fret out and stop rendering it. Now the frets held is the kind of Guitar Hero frets being pressed. So here, if we're in our lute state, that on the left side is our frets held. So either fret 1 or fret 2. And then we have it so that if we hold fret 1 and then press fret 2, 2 overwrites 1. But if we let go of 2, 1 is still there because it's still being held. So we only render the highest most value of fret being held, so that 2 can overwrite 1. But still, yeah, this is going to be tricky for touch. Okay, so I think we can do this with adding a name field for a collision detection for a frets held. So if we go back to our play state and we go to our frets held here, we not only want to insert into frets held. Okay, see, and then how would we say... Now, in table.insert, the second argument is the value, not the position, so it's hard because we need to grab the proper position index. Good stream, struggled with UI UX. Nice. Glad you figured something out. Yeah, Quellis, yeah, I don't know. It's my bad for not subscribing already when I saw it, but I've seen a handful of your Stream Deck ones. They just keep popping up on my YouTube, so I need to subscribe for sure. Or maybe I did. I think I've been leaving comments on you. But yeah, keep it up because they're good. I watch them every time I come across them. Yeah, because table.insert, I believe, just puts it at the front of the table. Oh gosh, I don't even know. Let's Google if table.insert adds to the end of the table or not. If we call it without a position, it inserts the element into the last position, therefore moves no elements. Okay. So what we can do is say we'll insert it and then we'll go into the table frets held. So what we can do is say frets held at index number frets held, and that'll give us the last value. And we can say that field, that name field gets added and titled button 2 is our B button. So we can put the string B into the name field. And then same thing with here for our A fret. But we have to remember to flush this upon a release. So now that we're technically, hopefully, putting the string name on a frets held, then we can let's see, we have to go into our touch handling right here. So if a touch is released, we're going to cycle through all the frets that are held, but we only want to do something if the frets held at index. See, how do we do this? Because the touch that's released, we have no reference to the ID of the touch that's released. We need to pair the name of the fret held with the ID of the touch, not the frets held table. So we don't need that, but we need to put, we need to add a field to our touches at index K to be equal to the name. We can call it fret held gets B. And then we can say on the touch released, we're going to cycle through the frets held. And then if the touch, oh gosh. Okay, so the touch released has an ID. Okay, touch is ID. Okay, so then we can say, because we have the touches ID right there, so we're going to say take our touches ID, but the dot frets held field, and if the frets held does, gosh, what would we do here? We have to, because what we're doing on the keyboard version is we're cycling through all of the frets that are currently held, and if the value's 1, meaning if the button that was released was the button that is still in the frets held table, then we need to go ahead and remove it. So how do we do that? Where we say if the frets held is a value, if frets held is a value, so does not equal nil, then we want to go ahead and remove that value from our frets held table at our index. See, we don't know what index it is, but we can ask, oh god, okay, yeah, we can say this where we say we're going to cycle through all the frets held if there is a fret held, and then cycling through all the frets held gives us access to the index here. And then if the value is button 1, so here's where we need to say if the fret held, if the touches at ID dot frets held is equal to, now value 1 would be our A button. I think it's B button. Then let me see which fret is what. Frets held 2 or 1. So okay, so B is fret 1, A is fret 2. So B is 1, yeah, and A is 2. Okay, so if by the time a touch is released, if that touch that is released has a frets held, then we're going to cycle through the frets held, and if the frets held, this isn't quite right. If the we want to say if the frets held at the given touch is B. No, I think that is right. Yeah, because if the touch that was released has a frets held equal to B, then in our loop, when the value is equal to 1, we're removing the 1 value from our frets held table. And then we're going to nullify that very touch that was released. Okay, and then we can say, else if our touches ID frets held is equal to A, then if our value is equal to 2, then we're gonna remove that fret held from our table. Okay. So I don't really like that we would put this in the callback for a touch release, but I don't know of another way to do that. We could potentially maybe have a table that holds a list of inputs that were released on any given frame and just delete it at the end of every delta time. Yeah. I don't think we need that. Okay. Do we crash? We do. Okay, where are we missing the end here? It looks right there. Why does this look wrong here? Why is there an end right here? Okay, so we should be removing the fret. I don't know if that'll work at all. That's kind of really far-fetched, but we'll try it. We'll say fret held removal for touch device. Okay. Oh, Quellis, dude, I didn't give you a shout out. Thank you for the raid, homie. Appreciate it. Here we go. We're going to pull up our lute, equip our lute. We're going to hit B to toggle our lute system. Now it looks like fret held is never being removed, but we were able to switch fret held. So that's good. It's just that the release, our touch release was not doing it. And also our A button is still triggering our spell casting. When it shouldn't. It should just be a fret held at this point. And then our select is still jacked up. It is turning off our lute, but it is not toggling our help state. So maybe like 30% success on that. Let's try to do. Let's get our help toggle working correctly. Oh, see, this is what's screwing it up, I think. Why do we have this? Okay, I don't think I want to do this. Because this is toggling. Well, I guess we can do it. Where are we doing? Button 3 is our select. So we can have. We're also doing this somewhere else. Yeah, we're also doing this in here, which let's keep it here. Let's keep it here and only here instead of in our touch press callback. That should fix the toggling at least. Let's see if that is the case. I always forget, I should probably just stay on the Mac here to make those commits while we're testing it, so I don't have to switch machines. Okay, so hitting select toggles our help state, but if we have a lute equipped, then it works. It's just, why is it rendering our lute box at the left there still? That is weird. It's rendering our, I forget, I call it beatbox actually. I call it beatbox over there. It should not render that. And then we'll need to take off this inventory debug here too. Inventory item here. Let's figure this out. Oh, this is one reason I don't do this, is my grep is broken. Okay. Well. Let me see. Literally just brew install ripgrep. I'm hoping that'll fix it. No. Oh, okay, whatever. I guess it worked now. I guess that was it. Okay, so what we're looking for is the state machine, global state machine current state name, G state machine dot current. It's the debug right here. What the heck? Right here. Yeah. Okay. And then okay, yeah, so we got that rendering off. And then if we toggle lute state here, see, that's really weird. The beatbox isn't rendering here when we take off lute state, so that means we're probably doing something different for the touch, but I don't think we are doing anything different. Let's see, select is buttons 3. Why does it keep doing that? Okay. We've got to be doing something with the beatbox. Beatbox render. And this is, oh. If lute state, then beatbox render. See, why is beatbox render outside the lute state? Okay, let's see if that fixed it for mobile. I guess we don't have to commit before we know it works, but... Alright, let's try it. Okay, it takes off the beatbox. Okay, so let's try to get the strings playing for D-pad presses now. And we have to also only do, because if we hold A right now, we're still toggling our spell casting, which is not correct. I'm going to test that here, if that's the case in the lute state. See, that is weird. I'm pressing the button. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that is a different button. On keyboard, spacebar is doing... Yeah, spacebar is doing the spellcast on our mobile, or on our keyboard, but P button is doing it for the mobile, so those are counteracting each other. So we just need to say we only do our spellcast stuff if we're not in lute state. Yeah. Okay. Where is our spellcast? Successful cast. Okay. So we only want to do... yeah, we only want to... Oh gosh. We only want to do any of this stuff if... This is weird, because this is, we're only doing... Oh, yeah, okay. So if fire spell's pressed... and... Oh... Or... Button... Fire spell pressed and not lute state. Then we want to go ahead and cast our spell and focus and stuff. Hopefully that works. We'll have to change this. We'll say to do change space to... And actually, why don't we just do it right now? This is not space, it is if the A button is pressed. Just want to remain consistent with our buttons here. So now spellcasting should be P instead of space. Yep. Okay, and then if we're in a lute state... Oh, shoot. We forgot to pull our changes. Okay. This is just in play state, line 306. And we're gonna pull our changes. Okay, and then we'll add this again. Okay. We've got that, and then let's make sure our fire spell is not casting when we press that button. Fire spell is not casting at all right now. Yeah, fire spell's not casting at all. Not good, not good. Well, we forgot to change that. Okay, that should do it. Okay, fire spell's casting, but if we have a lute equipped and we're in lute state, we're still casting. Okay. So this has to be and not lute state. Okay, I can cast. If I'm in lute state, I cannot cast. Then if we take lute state off, I can cast. Lute state, cannot cast. Okay. Sweet. Okay, let's get our lute playing with our D-pad presses. We still have to fix our fret release, but if we can get sounds coming out, that'll at least be a good start. Okay, so our lute playing is saved at right here. Okay. So we need D is our buttons. Oh god, this is jacked up, but let's try to just do this. Okay, I'm gonna need to reference our D-pad table. But we need to go find where we're cycling through our notes here, right here, cycling through our touches. And then we need to add collision with our D-pad to determine which note is pressed. Okay, so let's do this. I keep getting that wrong. Okay. Okay. So this one becomes if D-pad, I already forgot. This is D, so this is right. Right is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th D-pad. So if D-pad 5 collides with touches at ID, then F1's pressed. S is down, which is 7. D-pad 7. Okay. A is left, which is 4. D-pad 4. Up is D-pad 2. And then we have to also ask, I believe we have to also ask if it was touched, because we don't want to play the string over and over and over again upon a collision. So we have to also say, and touches. And what I can do here is, if touches ID was touched. Yeah, so oh my gosh. And then when we test this, I don't think the stream gets the audio from the Mac or from the phone screen share, but you'll at least be able to see the blue strings if they're correctly triggering to be plucked and everything. So let's see if this gets us where we're going there. Let's see, testing strings on mobile. Okay. Uh-oh. That's what we get for not testing it before we push it and commit it. Okay, play state 438. I don't know how we broke this. we changed here was this line here. I don't get why it's crashing now. Okay, so we need an end, which is right here. Yeah. Yo, what are we missing? Okay, it looks like we added an end here. Okay, so it should be right here in our PlayStation update. Wow, hey, thank you for the raid, Basie. Hey, welcome in. And hey, K-Tronics, good to see you, dude. Hey, thank you for the raid. Hey, how was the stream, Basie? What did you end up getting done today? Okay, we'll build this now. Oh yeah, dude, Flappy Bird. Are you so? Is this part of a game jam or something? Flappy Bird was the second game I learned how to program. It went Pong, Flappy Bird, and then I've been teaching myself ever since. But dude, Flappy Bird is tough. Flappy Bird with all the pipes and the random adjustment and stuff, that is actually really tough. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, dude, Flappy Bird's no joke. I can tell you that. I thought it was tough and I was following a tutorial. Okay. Shit. Touch detection 18. We've never had that issue before. We must be trying to call... We must have typed in a wrong touch table. Touch detection 18, touch... Yo, why? Oh, right here. Touched. Touched. A D-pad 5 should be touches. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you had a good time, Basie. Thanks for the raid, dude. Appreciate it. Okay. Son of a bitch. None of our touches are working, dude. Like what? We must be pulling in a touch somewhere else incorrectly. I thought that would fix it. Okay, this is touches K, not touches ID. Shit. Oh, lordy. I was trying to do my fancy Vim replacements, but the brackets need special escape characters, I think. And I totally messed that up. We're hoping to have... If this works as expected, we should be able to play the lute on the mobile deployment now. Shit. Okay. Alright. So when we hit B here, since lute is equipped, we should toggle the lute state. Cool. And then we should be able to play the strings. Son of a bitch. We can't play the strings. And our frets held isn't being cleared either. Okay. We're close. I thought that would be it. At least we're not crashing there. Okay, I don't know why it's not playing. Let's just see if we can do this. Because the order of operations might be screwing up the what's touched. And actually, let me see the what's touched. Where are we doing that? I think we're doing it in main. Okay, we'll try this. Still not working. Okay. I guess we could check where these presses are being set and make sure. Oh, wait a second. We only want to do this if we're in lute state. Yeah. Okay, so wherever we're doing the D-pad collision, we need to, we're already doing a D-pad collision to move our character. So we just need to go to where we're doing that for our character and add a conditional for lute state. So where is our collides with D-pad so that we can do it with our lute instead of our player's position. Oh god. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Here. Okay. Oh, that's just... Oh, that's in our item inventory. We're looking for... Okay, this is really weird. Where are we doing this? We have to be doing our... Let's check out our touch handling. Okay. I think what's happening here is we're doing our... all our... well... Okay, so we have this thing called a touch list. It's like an empty table. And then for every button in our D-pad table, we're checking if it's pressed. So where do we set it to be pressed? Right here. We say, oopsie. We say for every touch, if our touch is colliding with that button, it becomes pressed. So that's working. But then how we're moving our character based on the input list. It's actually the output list. We turn our input list into an output list of like a sanitized input. So if you hold contradictory inputs like this, or this is for diagonal movement, but if you hold contradictory inputs, we flush the output list. So I'm thinking something is going wrong here because we are already doing stuff. Okay. Yeah, I don't see why we can't just do what we're doing, which is check for collision with our D-pad object. I don't think this would get in the way of anything because this is just modifying a global output list table. And that's how we're rendering the buttons to appear pressed on our deployment, and that is working. So we're still, let's see. Yeah, we're detecting the touch all right. And if we're in a lute state, we still detect the touch. So the only issue is we're just not turning our strings to be played. Okay. Well, so the sound, playing the sound is different than rendering the color, and we're not doing either right now. For touch. But I can't even find the logic that's supposed to be in here that we just did that is in our get diff here. I can't even find it. It looks like it's line 151 in our play state update. heck? I don't even see it. We took it out? Okay, let's keep this. Let's try this one more time and just try to get... All this should do is render the color of the string being plucked, and then we can try to get the sound coming out. I don't know why that was removed. I don't know why I had deleted that. All right. I got this. All right, we should be good. We should be good. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What'd I do? What'd I do? Yo. What is going on? I thought I fixed this. Okay. Let's try the fancy Vim replace again. We're going to substitute any ES ID with ESK. Why is it not like that? How come we can't do this? There we go. There's the fancy replace. Okay. All right. We shouldn't crash now. Okay, let's try it. At least get the strings plucking, you know? Oh, what? Okay, the last thing I have to try is to just take out the was touched here and hope that might do something. Son of a bitch. Okay, here we go. Still no. Why? We've got to be doing something else we're not remembering for the lute string render. So if we look at what this F2 pressed is doing, all it's doing is setting the color for the string. But yeah, so I mean, we know that's not working because the strings aren't changing color. They need to be both moving, like they're being plucked, as well as change color, as well as sound come out. And none of that's happening right now. So there's something in here that we're just missing for the touch that we have for the keyboard. It might have something to do with the lute string, but we are seeing the lute strings. They're just not the right color and they're not being animated. So we must be missing something here. Okay, well, here's our string update. There's our animation refresh, but only for keyboard detection. But at the very least, our touches. See, this is where we're changing the was pressed. Oh. Okay. So since, yeah, the else here is what's screwing us. The else here is we're setting our F pressed correctly, I think, based on the touch. So like if we were to comment this out, it should work on mobile, but then it would break it on keyboard. So we have to say else if, how would we do this? We have to say yeah, we can't flush it to become false if the keyboard just is not down. We could set a timer. Anytime a string is pressed, it swaps to blue for a certain amount of time and then it swaps back to white. So maybe we'll do that because we can't have these else. Swapping it, shit. But if we look at what F pressed is, it's a local Boolean. So it becomes hard to toggle it false over a certain amount of time on using it both on the keyboard and touch. So part of me thinks, let me just try this. Let me just make sure this is the issue. So if we comment out not the touch collision, but if we comment out the keyboard was pressed stuff, let's see if it works on mobile. And then we'll just have to figure out how to make it work on both. This also comes down to that, you know, do we make 2 deployments, one for mobile, one for keyboard, so that we can avoid problems like this, or do we just make it work for both? It's starting to become a little confusing there, but we should be able to do it for both. Because that's, you know, it's going to be too much work for me to make 2 different versions of the game every time we meet a milestone or whatever. I'd like it if we just kind of develop it with both platforms in mind. We could also make like a global, well, let's see if it works first. Okay, yep. See how we're rendering the colors? We're not doing the animation just yet, but we are playing the strings. We're not playing the sounds, but we know we touch it. So this is the issue. I'm thinking maybe we have like a global Boolean that says is touch device. And it starts out false, but whenever we detect a touch, any touch, we know it's a touch device, and then we can say only do that keyboard input if it's not a touch device, so that we don't accidentally flush it false if a keyboard isn't being held. And then ideally, see how like it's always blue here, even though we just touched it once. We would have to set a little timer or something to flush it back to white, or see, it's really tough to do we don't have the was touch released callback for particular buttons. We only have a global was released callback, so it becomes tough. Yeah, I want to say we need to add a table and a field to our touches, our global touches table. And the touches holds not only the unique ID of the touch, but also a name of the thing it's colliding with, if it's colliding with something. And then upon a touch release, we go and ask, you know, hey, was the touch release on a touch ID with a name field equal to, you know, a direction? And if that direction was released, then we would flush the color for the string render. But then it's only in like one little spot, so that is really kind of tricky. So yeah, we have to think about how we're gonna flush the color back to white. And also toy with this like mobile device. I'm thinking if we add this global Boolean for keyboard instead of touch device, and instead of making it a one-time thing, make it switch to whatever input type was used last. Yeah, so, and one thing I'm thinking of too, Grepler, is like, so I think some people have devices that have a keyboard and a touch. So I think that does make sense, because if they're playing on keyboard but then they want to touch the screen on their Surface tablet or whatever, that if we do your method, that would work to swap it out and say like, hey, whatever input was received last, or like we switch that that boolean for which type of input we're listening for. Well, yeah, and it's not that we're listening for, it's that we would... Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out the animation for the string pluck, and then we can call it a night. If we can get, like right here, it's not that... Oh gosh. Okay. So here we're playing a certain sound depending on how many frets are held. Now the frets held are broken, but it should still play. The animation refresh is what toggles the string kind of being plucked. And then we just have to listen for, we just have to do this in our touch detection. So not if this stuff was pressed. Let's find where our lute state should be after, right after this stuff, right after our pressed. That just changes the color, which we still need to flush. But F1 should be D-pad 5. A1 should be D-pad 7. Okay, D1 is string D-pad 4. And then F2 is D-pad 2. This should get our string strumming, but it still won't flush it back to a white color after any amount of time. What was it for? Let's try that, because now we should be pulling animation refresh upon a D-pad collision with the touch. So let's give that a shot. And then this my phone is so tiny, I have to scroll this, so I might scale it differently, but on my partner's phone, she's got a normal, I would say normal size. This is like the tiny iPhone, but on the other size iPhone, you don't have to scroll. So I'm kind of like torn between making it work well on my device or make it work well on a bigger device. Okay. 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 All right. Well, we got them strumming. And then our frets does change. I think we should at least get the sound playing so that I can at least play around before I go to bed playing my game on my phone and playing music. So if we can get... Oh, and then the diagonals should be multiple strings, and right now they are not. So we need to pull both strings if we pull the diagonals, which we aren't doing currently. So let's see if we can figure that out. Yeah, because what's different is we'd be able to get both things playing if it were like a computer where we play both of the strings at the same time, like hit W and A at the same time, or any of those strings. And maybe we can do... Maybe the move is if in our animation, if our animation frame is in a certain range, that's when we change the string color. So it's not based on the touch input, it's based on the animation frame. Because right now if we strum two strings, one of them isn't blue. So we should just change the blue color based on the animation frame. But the issue here is that there's no... The diagonal representation on keyboard is just, let's say this is up and to the left, so W and D. But we're not... We have to basically say if we collide with our upright D-pad, then we do the animation refresh for both of the strings. So we'll do that, and then we'll add the sounds to the strum as well. So yeah, we have to do a diagonal string. So like, if this is string 1, that's right. String 2 is down, I believe. String 3 is left. And string 4 is up. So we have to play... If we detect a diagonal input, we have to play both of the strings. Now I want to see where we're doing the play sound. Oh, we are doing the play sound. Okay, so we're already doing the play sound. I think it's just not working because I'm casting it to my computer here. So I'm going to assume that the string sound is working, so let's just try to get diagonals working, and then we can call it a night. So if string 1 is right and string 2 is down, then diagonal down would be both of them. So down and right would be this, and then let's see. We need... Well... There we go. These are the numbers I'm looking for. Right there. Okay, so down right would be both. I'm forgetting what the valid note checker is. Oh, that's for, okay, that's for determining if we hit the note correctly for our Guitar Hero minigame. But I'm not worried about that just yet. I would just want to do our correct playing. So if our down right is our D-pad 8, then we're checking for a touch collision with the down right. We're going to be checking the valid note checker for both 4 and 3. So we'll do that. And we'll play both the strings. Yeah, we'll play both the strings if we hit diagonal. So before I get too far, I do want to see if this will work. This should be down and to the right. So let's just test if that works. And Gruppler, I don't know if you're still here, but this game started out as me wanting to make a Name of the Wind game. So that's why Tashio's got red hair, because he's supposed to be a spellcasting Kavoth. Okay. Oh. Okay, so it looks like we messed up and we put it on down. We put both strings playing on down, not on... Oh, how did we switch that up? Seven. Yeah, we totally messed that up. No, this is right. Down right. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, we messed this up. This should be 7. And this should be 8. Yo, how did we screw this up so bad? And this is down right. And this is down. Okay, we still need to add the correct color, but we'll do that based on the animation frame, so I think that's a good idea. We won't get around to that tonight, but hopefully we can at least get the colors, the strings strummed on the diagonals. So next up is our down left, which is D-pad 6. So there's our left, so let's do our down left, and our down left is going to check if D-pad 6 collides with a touch. And if it's down and left, we need both the down and left. So this is down. And this is left. Okay, and then we'll do up left, which is going to be D-pad 1. And then upright should be our last one. Upright is our D-pad 3. Okay. Yeah, Gruppler, if you ever dig back into the archives of the YouTube channel, you can see I started. He didn't have his hair up in a bun. It was like wild, fiery hair flying around everywhere. So it's just like a little Easter egg about the game. Okay, let's try it. Okay, our strings are working, and then double strings, double strings, double strings, and octave strings. Cool. Now the colors aren't working on these double strings, but we'll worry about that later. Now the sound should be working for these. We can only change the fret once because we messed up our fret code, but we will work on that tomorrow. I'm gonna put into our notes here those two things. Let's say that this is gonna be fix frets held for mobile, for touch, and then render string colors based on string animations. Okay. Yeah. And also why there's like a lute in the game, you know. like loot was always supposed to be in the game. Okay, we get pushed. Sweet. Right, exactly. Magic, red hair, loot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wanted a whole thing. Like, I wanted to make sympathy lamps. You know, I wanted it to be like you go to school and you listen to lectures and then you do mini games of how to do the magic and stuff. And you could go, you can go to Master Kilvin's shop or whatever and make the sympathy lamps, and you can craft all of that stuff. Like I had a whole, and then like as I was thinking, I was like, this is gonna take me, 4 or 5 years, and I don't want, I want to be able to release my game without any copyright or whatever infringement. So I was like, you know what? I'll just pivot. I'll make my own original game. I can do whatever I want. But I still like that idea. Like I do kind of want to make a sympathy lamp still, right? Go into the archives at night and pull out your sympathy lamp. I think that'd be cool. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get some more stuff done. We're going to raid out to Hypnotic Games. He's making a goblin game in Godot. But thanks for hanging, y'all. Hope y'all have a great rest of the night. Peace out.